Trump backs. Karoline Leavitt's lawsuit, The View, is done. President Trump isn't just watching the media meltdown surrounding The View. He's stepping in, taking sides, and making it clear he's all in for Karoline Leavitt. In an explosive White House press conference, Trump addressed the lawsuit head-on, standing firmly behind his press secretary Karoline Leavitt in her $800 million defamation suit against ABC and the hosts of The View. Karoline is doing an incredible job as press secretary. She's smart, tough, and honest. What The View did to her was disgusting. Pure character assassination, Trump said. They've slandered conservatives for years, but this time they messed with the wrong person. Hey, real quick, if you're liking the video so far, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. It helps out a ton, and you'll never miss an upload. Plus, we've got some great stuff coming your way. Alright, back to it. The president enters the arena. This wasn't just a passing comment. Trump's full-throated support sent a political shockwave across the country. With Trump now directly involved, this lawsuit isn't just about media accountability. It's about the power struggle between the legacy press and the most powerful office in the world. And make no mistake, Trump's message was as much a warning to The View as it was a rallying cry to conservatives. Your time is up. We're not going to let corrupt, failing media outlets smear good people and walk away. There are consequences now, Trump added. They've mocked us for years. We're done playing nice. The View is shaking. Following Trump's statement, insiders at ABC described the atmosphere as nuclear panic. According to sources close to the network, senior legal advisors warned executives that the president's involvement will increase both public and legal pressure, possibly fast-tracking the court process and escalating damages if the case proceeds to trial. An anonymous ABC staffer said, "This is no longer a PR problem. This is a constitutional crisis in the making. When the President of the United States publicly backs the plaintiff and that plaintiff works for him, the stakes are sky high." Joy and Whoopi on the edge. Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar, who previously mocked the lawsuit on air, have reportedly gone silent behind the scenes. Staffers claim the two are absolutely furious with ABC Legal for not shutting the story down sooner. Both are said to be contemplating whether to issue public apologies or walk away from the show entirely. One source close to the production said, "There's serious talk about cutting ties with one or both of them before this lawsuit burns the entire brand to the ground." They laughed, they mocked. Now they're watching the walls close in. Conservative America rallies behind Karoline. The reaction on the right has been massive. Social media platforms are flooded with support for Leavitt. Memes, quotes, and clips of Trump's statement are everywhere. #WeStandWithCaroline trended for 48 hours straight, with conservatives seeing the lawsuit as a long overdue stand against media hypocrisy. But the political commentators are already calling Leavitt's fight a defining cultural moment, not just because of the lawsuit itself, but because of what it represents. The return of a conservative administration that's willing to take on media giants without blinking. The Trump-Leavitt alliance. The dynamic between President Trump and Karoline Leavitt has become a force of nature. Trump's trust in her is unshakable, and Leavitt's boldness reflects the same energy Trump built his entire political career on, fighting back harder. "She's fearless," Trump said. "They thought they could intimidate her. Now she's holding them accountable, and she's doing it for every American who's been lied about, silenced, or ridiculed by the fake news." For Leavitt, this isn't just personal, it's political warfare. And now, with the full weight of the White House behind her, she's going in with backup that no media outlet wants to face. Legal consequences are coming. Legal experts say Trump's backing could have significant legal implications. It adds pressure to judges, draws public attention to courtroom proceedings, and positions the case as more than a civil matter. It now touches on First Amendment abuses, federal influence, and potential corruption in media practices. If ABC tries to settle quietly now, it'll look like an admission of guilt. But if they go to trial, they risk being steamrolled in the court of public opinion, and possibly the legal system too. There's no safe exit anymore. The end of The View? With Trump speaking out, Leavitt holding the line, and public outrage mounting, the future of The View looks bleak. Advertisers are pulling back, viewership is dropping, network trust is disintegrating. What once seemed like a silly daytime chat show is now the epicenter of a national legal and political firestorm. And as President Trump put it, they're not going to get away with it this time. This could be the end of The View, and frankly, it should be. The media meltdown begins. With President Trump now vocally backing Karoline Leavitt's $800 million lawsuit, media outlets across the spectrum are scrambling. Some are doubling down, attempting to discredit Leavitt with rushed op-eds and fact checks that are already falling apart under scrutiny. Others, however, are sounding the alarm, privately admitting that The View may have triggered something far bigger than they ever anticipated. Legacy media's worst fear is unfolding in real time. A young, articulate conservative woman, backed by a sitting US president, suing one of the most iconic liberal talk shows in television history, and winning over the court of public opinion. And here's the twist, not even left-wing networks can pretend this isn't a crisis. Sources at MSNBC and CNN are reportedly being instructed to minimize mention of the lawsuit unless they can spin it as partisan theater, knowing full well that any fair coverage risks exposing the hypocrisy of the very media ecosystem they belong to. The culture war just got a legal strategy. For years, conservatives have been on the receiving end of character assassinations, smears, and twisted media narratives. The playbook was always the same. Make the accusation loud, make the correction quiet, and hope the damage sticks. But Karoline Leavitt just rewrote that script. Rather than cower or issue a soft rebuttal, she went straight to court. With an airtight case and a relentless legal team, she's turning the tactics of the media machine against itself. And now, thanks to Trump's backing, she's showing the right how to fight smart. Not just on camera, but in the courtroom. This strategy is already being studied by conservative organizations and legal advocacy groups. Don't be surprised if this becomes a template for future lawsuits, where the defamed stop asking for retractions and start demanding accountability. Silent allies within the industry. Perhaps the most surprising twist, quiet support coming from within the media industry itself. Several former producers, writers, and staffers who've worked behind the scenes at networks like ABC have begun anonymously reaching out to Leavitt's legal team, offering inside information. Why? Because they've seen the bias firsthand. Some of these insiders say they were uncomfortable with the treatment of conservative guests long before this lawsuit. They watched how narratives were crafted, how sound bites were taken out of context, and how producers steered segments to fit political agendas. Now, with The View in the hot seat, these silent allies see an opportunity to finally expose the systemic issues they've witnessed for years without risking their own careers. Democrats caught in a bind. The lawsuit has also placed Democrats in an awkward position. Publicly, most liberal politicians have been silent on the issue, hoping it will blow over. But behind closed doors, they're deeply uncomfortable. Why? Because Karoline Leavitt isn't an easy target. She's young, composed, and sharp. She's not storming the media circuit with rage. She's calmly presenting her case. And with Trump backing her, the political cost of opposing her has become a serious calculation. If Democrats attack her, they risk alienating moderate voters who increasingly view media as biased. If they stay silent, they leave The View, a cultural mainstay of their base, out to dry. Either way, Leavitt has shifted the political ground beneath them. The international angle. This lawsuit hasn't just caught national attention, it's gone global. International news outlets, particularly in Europe and Australia, are covering the case as a major media scandal. Foreign commentators are drawing comparisons to their own media systems and debating how far freedom of the press should go before it becomes freedom to defame. In Australia, one prominent host remarked, "America's daytime television has become a courtroom liability. What Leavitt is doing is sending shockwaves through every newsroom that ever assumed opinion could replace fact." International legal experts are also weighing in, speculating that this case could influence how global media handles defamation, especially in an age where TV soundbites are instantly broadcast worldwide. Pressure on corporate sponsors. Another overlooked angle. Corporate sponsors are feeling the heat. Advertisers who supported The View are now in damage control mode. With Trump officially endorsing Leavitt's battle, the issue has gone from controversial to radioactive. Companies tied to the show are now being pressured by consumers on both sides. Some demanding they pull their ads, others threatening boycotts if they do. This is a nightmare for corporate PR departments, who now must choose between alienating a loyal progressive audience or sticking with a show that could be legally liable for one of the most high-profile defamation cases in modern history. Either way, the financial fallout is real and growing. A defining test for free speech versus defamation. Critics of Leavitt's lawsuit have attempted to frame it as an attack on free speech. But legal scholars are quick to clarify, this case isn't about silencing political commentary. It's about punishing knowingly false and defamatory claims presented as fact. And with President Trump now using his platform to draw that distinction even further, the debate is shifting. Americans are starting to ask hard questions. When does opinion cross into slander? Should media platforms be protected if they intentionally distort someone's character? What protections exist for individuals being targeted by billion-dollar networks? Trump's message is simple. Free speech is sacred, but libel has consequences. Final word, this is just the beginning. What Karoline Leavitt has started, and what Trump just supercharged, isn't just a lawsuit, it's a movement that demands fairness in media, that refuses to accept smear campaigns as normal, that believes if a show like The View can't operate with integrity, it shouldn't operate at all. With Trump's support, Leavitt now stands at the front lines of a cultural shift that's been long overdue. And for ABC, for Whoopi, for Joy Behar, and for everyone else who thought they could destroy reputations without consequence, the game has changed, and The View may not survive it. Want more updates as this historic battle unfolds? Hit that subscribe button. We're covering every twist, every quote, and every courtroom showdown as Karoline Leavitt takes on one of the most powerful media machines in America, with the President of the United States at her side. This isn't just a lawsuit, this is a reckoning.